You make eye contact with someone across a room. Something shifts. Maybe you look away first. Maybe you don't. You find a reason to move closer. You say something that isn't quite what you mean. You wait on a reply to a message you've read 3 times before sending. All of this feels completely natural, instinctive even. But here's the thing. Almost none of it is. For most of human history, none of these behaviors existed. The lingering glance, the coded compliment, the carefully timed pause. These are not ancient instincts. They are learned performances, shaped by language, culture, and thousands of years of social evolution. So if flirting, as we know it, is a recent invention, what did humans do before it? What did attraction look like before we gave it a script? Modern humans have existed for approximately 300,000 years. That's 300,000 years of births, migrations, winters survived, 300,000 years of people looking at other people and feeling something. But the flirting we recognize today, the subtle signal, the art of saying one thing while meaning another, belongs to a world of language, leisure, and complexity that most of human existence simply did not have. Which means attraction existed for nearly all of human history, but the way it was expressed was almost unrecognizable compared to what we practice now. Something changed, slowly, and most of us have never once stopped to ask what came before. So here is the actual question. Not why do we flirt, but what did attraction look like before flirting was even an option? Before the wink, the word game, the message left unread. To understand early human attraction, you first have to understand the world those humans were living inside. It was not safe, not comfortable, not predictable. Early humans faced predators, famine, harsh weather, with none of the buffers we take for granted. In that world, forming a bond wasn't a romantic luxury. It was a survival calculation. Every relationship had consequence. Who you moved with, worked beside, stayed close to. These decisions shaped whether you survived. Attraction wasn't separate from survival. In many ways, it was survival. Desire in that context likely carried something we rarely connect to it today. Not romance, gravity. Without language sophisticated enough to carry subtext, signals would have been direct. Physical proximity, sustained presence, moving toward someone rather than away, sharing food in a context of scarcity, a profound act, participating in the same tasks, the same risks, demonstrating capability. These signals were immediate and meaningful, precisely because they required real cost. There was no ambiguity built in on purpose, no strategic withholding designed to create longing. What they had instead was presence, action. Here is something that probably feels strange to consider. For most of human prehistory, attraction as a private experience, something that belonged to 2 people alone, may not have existed the way we imagine it. Early humans lived in small, interdependent tribes, where hierarchy shaped nearly every aspect of life. Who bonded with whom wasn't entirely personal. Status, role, and group dynamics determined who was available, who was chosen, who was allowed. Attraction happened inside the group, visible, communal, structured, not in private space between 2 people. We experience desire as something interior, ours alone to navigate. That sense of privacy around attraction is itself a cultural construction. It was not always the default. Early humans felt desire. They felt attachment. That emotional machinery is ancient, older than language, older than culture. But feeling something and performing it are 2 entirely different things. We have built an elaborate vocabulary for attraction. Rituals so deeply absorbed, they feel like instinct. The smile held a half second too long. The question asked, not because you want the answer, but because you want the conversation to continue. None of that is instinct. All of it was learned, Mate selection theory suggests that humans evolved to signal fitness to potential partners, health, strength, resources, social standing. In early humans, those signals were literal. You demonstrated strength by being strong. You communicated capability by sharing resources. The signal and the substance were the same thing. Culture, across thousands of years, built abstraction on top of those biological signals. We learned to represent fitness rather than demonstrate it, to imply rather than show. Flirting, then, is a performance of biological signals through cultural language, and the shift from demonstration to performance is one of the quietest transitions in human history. Modern flirting requires shared cultural codes, language capable of double meaning, and enough safety to be indirect about something as loaded as attraction. None of that existed for most of human existence. What we call natural, the instinctive way attraction moves through us, is layered. Something ancient lives at the core, but everything built around it was learned, absorbed from a culture that shaped you before you were old enough to examine it. We did not invent attraction. We invented how we express it, which leads somewhere uncomfortable if you stay with it. How much of the way you express attraction is actually you, not the feeling that may be as old as the species, but the behavior, the performance, the specific way you move through wanting someone and letting them know. How much of that is genuine? How much did you quietly absorb from a script handed to you before you ever had a chance to question it? Even desire, the thing that feels most interior and personal, has a social history, shaped by language, by hierarchy, by the specific culture into which you were born. You are not starting from nothing when attraction moves through you. You're working from a script, and the script has been rewritten many times. So the next time that pull arrives, that unmistakable recognition of another person, notice two things: the feeling itself, ancient, real, shared by every human who has ever lived, and then notice everything surrounding it, the way you respond, the choices you make, the moves you make without realizing they are moves. Ask yourself which part of that is you, and which part is something you were quietly taught to perform, because what feels most natural to you may not be natural at all.